It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know.
Hey guys, it's Monday, January 18th, 2021, and this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and support us on Patreon. Now, today we'll get some coronavirus updates, current news from around the world, and the Sunday sermon, the message about God's time and duration. So, everyone, how was your 15 days of giving glory to God? I'm sure that you guys had an amazing time. It was tiring. There was a lot of stuff that we went through, but it was truly amazing. And all the words that we had, I think I told a bunch of people this, my brain could not contain all the words that we received. So guys, yes, if you couldn't handle everything, I completely understand. There was so much that it's almost like you can't even go back to listen to it again because there's just way too much. There's like 20 hours of messages plus extra message on top of the 15 days. So it was crazy. So I know that all of you guys were able to enjoy your weekend, really rest, relax, receive a lot of grace and fire from the Sunday message. But it is Monday again. 15 days are over. It is time to put that grace and that word into work and make some amazing miracles happen. So I hope that everyone here can restart another amazing week together with the Lord. So it is a week of giving glory to the Holy Trinity, and it is time for us to do things in God's time. So let's do it together here on the Morning Star Drive. Thanks for joining us. Like and comment below. We want to hear how you guys are doing. Make your requests, your questions, and what you guys think about today's program. Okay, so also good news is SKY, the new newcomer YouTube channel that we have, has begun. The first video came out on Saturday, and what a tremendous first weekend. It basically obliterated and shattered all the different records I had on my YouTube channel. It is the best video by far. I believe, 400, 500 views already. And for me, that's huge because I'm used to getting, like in the first weekend or the first 2-3 days, I'm used to getting far less than that. But so grateful and thankful. Everyone that supported, a lot of new subscribers, and I'm hoping that it will continue to bring more and more people this week. And I have a lot more to talk about this new rebranding. And I'm very grateful for your support for this channel. Really appreciate it. And keep doing it, guys. It's always the likes, the comments, and the sharing. Those three things are the biggest thing you can do to help, and it helps to spread the channel over. And, eventually, this channel, I want it to work where it's not where our members are the ones pushing everything. I want it to be a channel where it just spreads out to newcomers, where we're just supporting just normally and not pushing like we're doing right now. But I'm very, very grateful for all your comments and all the things that you said. Just to let you know, the bubble talks have changed. We are now changing it to Lab 78. Okay, 78, we all know what the year 1978 is. But for the people in the world, of course, it is the year I was born. So that's why, I'll just say it's the year I was born. Yes, and people will know how old I am, but that's okay. Lab 78 starts tomorrow night. It's going to be brand new programming and formatting too. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that also. It's going to be twice a month on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. So it is tomorrow night. All right. So yesterday was a Sunday edition. We interviewed Jinlan Rowe from America, FaceStar, currently national FaceStar, the church rep. She works in HQ. She is a young entrepreneur. She has 3 donut shops, 2 under her name. She is going to be pretty much amazing. So listen to it because her parents came to Providence in the very, very beginning. So you're going to hear some crazy stuff that their family went through. And I was just so shocked. Guys, you go into the interview and towards the end, you're getting deeper and deeper into all the different things that happen. You guys got to listen to it. It's amazing, right? So go ahead and check out the Sunday edition. Also, big shout outs to Tony and Maria in America, Queen in Malaysia, and Katie in Australia for believing and supporting this channel on Patreon. If you want to support us too, go ahead, check out the Patreon link in the description. If you're on SoundCloud, click the blue button on the homepage. Patreon is a crowdfunding site that you can support the Morning Star Drive at just $3 a month. It's really, really cheap. And at the moment, we have extra stuff on there, lecture training videos, Monday Bible studies that started again, so go ahead and check it out. I am also putting in lecture question and answers and stuff like that too. Also, like I said, Monday night tonight is going to be another open Bible study lecture, and we're going to go into all these prophecies of the Lord's second coming. So it's going to be posted on Patreon too. So let's get into today's show, and we'll take a look at the featured artist of the day. Today's featured artist, brand new song from Bach from Paper Music Associates in Korea. Brand new song. I found it on his separate SoundCloud channel. Song is called True Story, and it is featuring PGY. First time ever on the Morning Star Drive, so we're going to hear a brand new song. Second song from RJR, Rising Japan Radio, and that song is Universe. And third, last but not least, is all the way over there in New Zealand, Justar Aiden Verity from New Zealand, and that song is Swaying. So let's make sure we support all of our member artists from around the world and make sure that they get all our love from our prayers.
Yeah. 반에서 잘 나갔어 나중 학교 다닐 때 애들 앞에 나서는 게 매일 반복됐던 하루날 선배 앞에 선 고개 숙여 인사해 수업했던 땐 고개 푹 숙여 시간 때워 공부 따윈 잘해봤자 형과 비교돼 쟤 누구 동생이란 소린 귀에 박혔네 두개 꼴을 강타해 그게 싫어 계속 다른 나로 바뀌었네 선배들과 알게 돼 강요당한 불량 서클 그러면서 산에 불려 친구들과 구타 당해왔어 정말 엄마한테 말 못해 내 맘 한켠 묻혀있던 주께 편지 써보니 주님께 편지 보낸 이후 주민신고 받고 경찰 출동해 선배 잡았고 어둠 속 그곳에서 꺼내준 내 주께 감사해 그 삶을 배워가네 yeah. 주에 가르침에 난 입학한 고등학교 다니며 자꾸 튀어나온 내 버릇 다스려간 나의 꿈은 나같이 방황하던 모든 사람들이 주를 만난 삶의 변화 이루어 기뻐하는 것 yeah. 하루 삶을 살며 또 배운 대로 시간 또 깨어 미련 없이 실컷 탔어 오늘도 주 따라 평소 하던 것보다 더 힘내 시련 닥쳐와도 난 지난 날 사연으로 결국엔 이겨가 지금은 질 것 같아도 보고 놀라지 결과 사람들은 말해 지금을 즐기자고 꼭 해결할 문제는 동전 마냥 던져놓고 누구든 해결해야 할 영 문제가 있어 그 문제 풀지 못하면 남는 건 아무것도 없어 함께 인생 100년 영에 대해 배우고 나의 육도 감독해 나의 생각만 앞세우다 끝나버릴 뻔했어 세상 최고 재벌이라도 때는 못 나가 참 안타까운 일이지만 방도는 있어 신의 생각대로 사는 것 묵은 양식은 희마리가 없지만 난 새 양식 먹으니 바로 힘이 나 이젠 나 놓치지 않아 내 인생 한때뿐 더 많이 배우고 또 가르쳐 줄래 난 생각나 아파했던 날 주님 떠올라 같이 울고 있던 날 난 내게 말해 나 같은 사람 지켜주심에 참 감사하다고 난 생각나 아파했던 날 주님 떠올라 같이 울고 있던 날 난 내게 말해 나 같은 사람 지켜주심에 참 감사하다고 난 생각나 아파했던 날 주님 떠올라 같이 울고 있던 날 또 내게 말해 나 같은 사람 지켜주심에 참 감사하다고 난 생각나 아파했던 날 주님 떠올라 같이 울고 있던 날 오늘도 말해 나 같은 사람 가치를 알려주심에 참 감사하다고
over her shoulder. Too late to turn back. Wishing it were over. Left more than a scratch. Couldn't bear to see it like this. She slipped out the back. Got lost in a blizzard and fell through a crack. For what was she thinking? It's not a game. You can't take back the hand you've already played. She's walking a fine line, toe deep and blind. Will she come running back? Well, maybe not this time. Back and forth she swaying, can't make up her mind. Now it looks she ain't staying. This'll be the last time. Missing out on the biggest chance of 1,000 years. She could wait and won't come again to her closed eyes and ears. Wandering to and fro, wondering where to go. How'll she ever know how to control her life? Swaying from side to side, wavering left and right. She's cut herself free and loose, out of sight, out of mind, out of view. Wandering to and fro, wondering where to go. How'll she ever know how to control her life? Swaying from side to side, wavering left and right. She's cut herself free and loose, out of sight, out of mind, out of views. She's cut herself free and loose, out of sight, out of mind, out of views.
And that was Juice-Star Aiden Verdi from New Zealand. A great song. That song was Swaying. And before that, RJR, Rise in Japan Radio, and that song was Universe. And of course, featured artist of the day was Bach from the Paper Music Associates in Korea. And that is a brand new song, first time ever on the Morning Star Drive. That song is called True Story, featuring PGY, also from the Paper Music Associates. All right, so now let's get into our programs today. We're going to first start with the coronavirus updates for the weekend. We had 3 days go by, so a lot of things that have happened. Numbers, of course, are much more inflated because it's 3 days past. So let's take a look in the world. We're at about 95 million cases now with 2 million deaths. We hit the 2 million death mark at 2.14%. In the U.S., 24.3 million cases and 405,000 deaths, 1.67%. So the U.S. has now hit over 400,000 deaths since for this entire pandemic. In Brazil, 8.4 million cases, 209,000 deaths at 2.48%. Russia with 3.5 million cases, 65,000 deaths, 1.84%. The UK at 3.3 million cases, 88,000 deaths at 2.64%. Then France at 2.8 million cases, 70,000 deaths at 2.42%. And new into the mix is Mexico. Mexico with 1.6 million cases and 140,000 deaths at an 8.6% mortality rate, which is one of the highest right now in the world. Guys, only 1.6 million cases, but 140,000 deaths, which is a lot. Also, if you look at Sweden, Sweden is the only country that we have that has a growing mortality rate. It's up to 1.97%, and then Belgium went down to 3.01%. Let's take a look at daily infection rates. The U.S. yesterday was 202,000 cases in a day. Then Brazil with 62,000 cases. Russia with 24,000 cases. France and Mexico with 21,000 cases. So, I think I'm missing a country here. Which country am I missing? It's I got US, Brazil, Russia. Okay, UK. Oh, the UK. I don't have the UK. The whatchamacallit? The UK. How many did the UK have in a single day? I'm just gonna check it on right here. The UK had 41,000. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. So the UK has been it's going pretty bad right now, but we got to keep praying for them. So that these, not just, the infection rates are not the big things. The bigger thing we have more than anything else is the mortality rate. How many people are actually dying? And we're hoping that it gets down to the point where it's supposed to be like around 1%. There's not many countries, like the US is at 1.67, so they're getting around there. And most of the countries are dropping lower and lower, so that's good news. Here in Southeast Asia, though, if you look at the daily infection rates, everything's going super high. So the other day, Indonesia at 14,000 cases in a single day. Then Malaysia at a record 4,000 cases in a day. And then the Philippines at 2,000. So this is huge. It really is a big thing. So we really got to pray that a lot of these numbers go down. But, more importantly, we just got to pray for the entire thing to end now that the vaccine's out. Pray that the vaccines are made really quickly and we're able to get over this by sometime by spring would be great. And of course, just like we did that little segment with how we matched the NOAA's time with the pandemic, let's just hope that the end of February, the first country will come out of the lockdowns and kind of be free from it. All right. So let's get into some current news around the world. And we're going to start with Indonesia. Now, I don't know what's going on with Indonesia, but there's some crazy things happening over there because not only is there the pandemic, there's over 10,000 cases a day. Then they had the airplane crash. And then over the weekend, there was an earthquake in Indonesia. So dozens have died and they're searching for survivors in Indonesia. Powerful earthquake rocked Indonesia's Sulawesi Island and has killed at least 42 people, with more feared dead as rescuers search for survivors. It's a 6.2 magnitude on the Richter scale. It struck on Friday morning, just hours after an earlier smaller tremor. Hundreds of people injured, thousands displaced by the quake. And Indonesia has a history of devastating earthquakes and tsunamis, with more than 2,000 killed in 2018. 8 people died when the 5-story Mitra Manakara hospital in Mamuju partially collapsed on Friday. Officials said about 60 people were safely evacuated from the hospital. Oh man, everything happened, said, in about 10 seconds. So officials fear the death toll increase as rescue efforts continue. Rescuers were still searching for survivors late on Friday, but they have been hampered by power cuts and poor mobile phone service. And the president of Indonesia offered condolences to the victims, urging people to stay calm and for the authorities to step up search efforts. The epicenter of Friday's quake was 6 kilometers northeast of Majin City at a depth of 10 kilometers, and video footage on social media showed collapsed houses, a girl pinned under rubble calling for help. It was just crazy, guys. It was really, if you look at some of the videos out there, it's really bad. So response teams could be hampered because of the coronavirus pandemic too. So you guys, we know that Indonesia was also long time ago. There was that huge tsunami in 2004. Right, triggered by earthquake, and there a tsunami came, and 226,000 people were killed in the island of Sumatra, right, and more than 120,000 just in Indonesia. So you guys remember, Indonesia is prone to earthquakes because it lies on what they call the Ring of Fire, which is a line of frequent quakes, the fault line, right. frequent quakes and volcanic eruptions on the Pacific Rim. So we do need to pray for Indonesia. Secondly, we have news up there in North Korea. They unveil a new submarine-launched missile. Right, so North Korea has unveiled a new type of submarine-launched ballistic missile described by state media as the world's most powerful weapon. Several of the missiles were displayed at a parade overseen by the supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, right, reported by state media. And the weapon's actual capabilities remain unclear as it is unknown to have been tested. So the show of military strength comes days upon the inauguration of Joe Biden as U.S. president. It also follows a rare political meeting where Kim Jong-un decreed the U.S. as his country's biggest enemy. So images released by North Korean state media showed at least 4 large black and white missiles being driven past flag-waving crowds. And analysts noted it was a previously unseen weapon. New year, like a new weapon, right? So we'll see what this really means. So the world's most powerful weapon, they say, in North Korea, submarine-launched ballistic missile, entered the square one after another, and powerfully demonstrating the might of the revolutionary armed forces. So this event happened on Thursday, and it's very interesting how this is happening at perfect timing, where the presidency is changing in the U.S. Also, last thing we can look at is the UK has now closed all travel corridors, and they're going to be closing it from Monday, which is today. So the UK is to close all travel corridors from Monday morning to protect against the risk of as yet another unidentified new strain of COVID, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said. Anyone flying to the country from overseas will have to show proof of a negative COVID test before setting off, and it comes as a ban on travelers from South America and Portugal came into force on Friday over concerns about a new variant identified in Brazil. So the PM, Boris Johnson, said the new rules would be in place until at least February 15th. A further 1,280 people with coronavirus have died in the UK within 28 days of a positive test, taking the total to over 87,000, getting close to 90,000 deaths over there. And the latest government figures on Friday also showed another 55,000 cases been reported, up from 48,000 the previous day. Meanwhile, more than 2 million people around the world have now died with the virus since the pandemic. So all travel corridors from this morning, right? That's going to be 4 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Monday. And after that, arrivals to the UK will need to quarantine for up to 10 days unless they test negative after 5 days. So the rules, as the Prime Minister said, would apply across the UK after talks with the devolved administrations added that the government would be stepping up enforcement at the border and in the country. So travel corridors were introduced in the summer to allow people traveling from some countries with low number of COVID cases to come to the UK without having to quarantine on arrival, but that is all changing right now. So that is the current news for today. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. And that's going to bring us into a time of praise and worship. And as one body of the Morning Star Drive, we're going to sing a couple songs. A brand new song just came out from the English Praise, IETT, and this song is My Beloved is the Best. We're going to hear that one first, brand new, just came out the other day. Then we'll go to Light of Hope. We heard that at the Sunday service. And then Everyone in Every Time Period.
My beloved, you're the best. All of you sing so well, and you dance so well. No one can compare to you. They're nothing special, never the ideal world, the world of freedom and truth, on the green pastures where streams of water overflow. I will live with the Lord, only loving Him, right here in this place, only for His will. Light of hope shine in Providence, still flowers bloom, still the fruits in Providence thrive, because we have the word of the Lord. Oh, the light of hope shines bright.
God's providence history, the last one of salvation, where flowers bloom and fruits grow, heaven on earth history. Rough windstorms may come and go, eternal hope history. I shall follow only the Lord, I shall love Him eternally.
Shall I live resenting others, resenting my own brothers? All of you who follow the Lord, let us never change. With never changing hearts, let us love and run to the Lord. It is only His word that becomes a light of hope. Stormy waves of trials seem to come endlessly. We may run and run, there's no end to see. Light of hope shine in Providence, still flowers bloom, still the fruits in Providence thrive, because we have the word of the Lord. Oh, the light of hope shines bright in Providence, still flowers bloom, still the fruits in Providence thrive, because we have the word of the Lord. Oh, the light of hope shines bright. Oh, the light of hope shines bright.
God's providence history, the last one of salvation, where flowers bloom and fruits grow, heaven on earth history. Rough windstorms may come and go, eternal hope history. I shall follow only the Lord, I shall love Him eternally. God's providence history, the last one of salvation, where flowers bloom and fruits grow, heaven on earth history. Rough windstorms may come and go, eternal hope history. I shall follow only the Lord, I shall love Him eternally. God's providence history, the last one of salvation, where flowers bloom and fruits grow, heaven on earth history. Rough windstorms may come and go, eternal hope history. I shall follow only the Lord, I shall love Him eternally.
There comes a time when everyone must decide what side they will choose. So when we see truth fighting lies, is history. God was with us, we've overcome. We fulfilled God's will of love. God was with us, we've overcome. We fulfilled God's will of love. God was with us, we've overcome. We fulfilled God's will of love.
And that was Everyone in Every Time Period. Great song, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Before that was Light of Hope. We heard that from the Sunday service, and also that very brand new song that just came out in English. It is My Beloved is the Best. All right, guys. So let's get into this week's word study. So many things to look at. I was really, really impressed. Well, how can you not be impressed? But there's a couple of sermons or topics that Sunscreen talks about, which he's like so good at. Of course, love is one of his best ones, right? Another one is time, and that's why this one I was like, whoa, like he was full on in. And just listening to him talking about time and how important time and the opportunity is was really relieving and really like, yeah, it was inspiring as in motivating, like, oh, I really got to do this, right? So I just like the very, very beginning talking about linking of all the messages. And he's like, let me give you one sentence to link. And I'm like, ooh, what's that sentence going to be? He's like, if you want to make the ideal world, you got to keep God's time. I was like, dang. It was like, dang, like that is the ultimate linking of the two messages. So I was just like, wow, okay, no wonder. So the big thing I liked at the very beginning was his talking about King David. So a lot of you know King David. He's like, you guys know King David. Some of you might not, because you might not come from the former faith. But King David is one of the most beloved in the Old Testament time. Like King David was just ridiculously, he was so in love with God. Of course, he made mistakes. He wasn't the perfect, absolutely perfect. No one's perfect until Jesus came, right? So David had that heart, that seeking out for God. And of course, he did make his mistakes. And I did like how Sunsim acknowledges, like, yeah, sometimes leaders make really bad mistakes. Right? And he acknowledged that, and his was a really, really bad mistake. Serious sin, committing adultery. And for me, as I was like going, it's so true. He committed one of the worst sins. He committed adultery. It had to do with the fall. He impregnated Bathsheba while she was married to Uriah the Hittite. And then once he finds out, you got to think about this, guys, how crazy this is, like the sin covering up the sin. The moment he impregnated her, because he was so tempted from watching her bathe, which is pretty much stalking, right? So he got so tempted, and then it's like, hey, he sleeps with her, impregnates her, and then finds out she's pregnant and is like, uh-oh, what do I do? So he brings Uriah back to try to get him to sleep with his wife so that he doesn't find out that it was him. And then, if you know the story, Uriah refuses to sleep with his wife when he knows that the rest of his men are fighting for their lives, and he's not going to sleep with his wife. He's not going to have a time of joy. And this is like, oh my goodness. And honestly, it makes you see how great Uriah was. Like, he was such a good person who was so faithful. And it's almost like, how could you do that to someone so good? Right? And when I looked at that, I was like, wow, what an amazing, amazing person. Right? So when I saw this, I was just really like, man, he did do such a serious sin. And the thing that I loved about the insight on how God treated David, he said, even though he deserved worse, like rebuking or punishment, God really loved him and didn't like punish him that badly because of that love for him. Like David repented so deeply, and if you know what actually happened, is the punishment was when he impregnated Bathsheba. It wasn't Solomon in her stomach. It was another boy, and God said that this boy would die, right? So this is when David started to repent, and he started to fast for his son to live. But of course, the son died as a punishment. But it's really amazing just to see how powerful love is, because I think for us too, we can relate to this. That when we, even when we hear, oh, you get what you deserve, right? That's a little bit different than what we think when you say you get what you deserve. It really is different, because if we have a child that is so loving, that loves you so deeply, that says they love you every day, gives you flowers or whatever it is, makes drawings of you, and you look at this kid and they're the most amazing kid, you're so in love with your kid, the way that they treat, how much they love you, they make a major mistake. Because you love them so much, you can't bring yourself to give them like the most severe punishment. You just can't. And this is why, sometimes you have people that you like at school, people that you don't. And if you don't like them that much, you'll be more upset. And if you love them so much, you can't be that mad at them. And it really is that feeling that God, this is really about love. That even though Solomon came from Bathsheba, that came from adultery, think about that, guys. Because God loved David so much, there was no choice but to bless through Solomon and make him king, even though it came through adultery. Isn't that crazy? Where sometimes we get into that mode, we think, oh, you get what you deserve, you get what you deserve. But reality is like, man, no, it really is about love. David made the mistake, but because of love, and David loved Bathsheba so much, there was no choice but to go through that round. And wow, it was just, for me, that was just, it's so refreshing to see it, to hear it that way. It really, really is more than you deserve it, so you die. But we're human beings. When it comes to love, we're not like that. We don't, even no matter how bad our children are, we don't want them to die. No matter how bad it is, if our wife does something to us, we don't want them to die, right? And that's something that we really have to think about very carefully, that it's like, man, after hearing that, I was really moved and inspired by when that came out in the message. I also really enjoyed, of course, talking about time and duration, right? A period of time. So everyone has a time, and the best example we heard is when you reach somewhere, that's the time, right? So when the time comes, that is the time. And then there's going to be a period of time you have to do something. Right? And this is something, basic messages, don't miss the opportunity, because the time will not always be there. And the first thought is, we don't know how long we're going to be, or like how long somebody's going to live either, right? We just don't know. And can you imagine the time of Jesus? How many people knew that Jesus would be dead in 3 days, right? Like it was only, and if you think about it, even in the large scale, it's only 3 years. That is mind-blowing if you think about it. Like no one would have thought of that. It comes like a thief, because no one knows their day or the hour, right? And that is something that we really have to get our hearts and our minds towards. The time is not always there, right? And once it passes by, you can't get it back. And this time we have right now, we got to put everything in, right? Because once that time finishes, that duration finishes, we'll never get it back. And it reminds me of some of these opportunities that some of these central figures had in the past, like Abraham. Imagine he didn't like listen to the calling of the burning bush. Imagine he didn't do that. That was the time. That's Moses, the burning bush, and Abraham, when it came to him sacrificing his son, that was his time. What if he didn't sacrifice his son? What if he took him all the way up the mountain and he didn't sacrifice his son and he didn't become the father of nations? That's how big it is. That time was so big that if Abraham didn't do that thing at that moment, he wouldn't become the father of faith. And I think it reminds us of everyone, if we take a look at our chance right now, like this is the chance we're living in. And we have to run hard during the time that we're together, or we're going to miss it. And this is why we need to get it done. Just like that promise in the message is like, just like the promise made, promised 30,000 people, got it done. As impossible as it sounds, got it done. And that's something that we really need to think about too, is whatever's happening, we got to get it done. We really, really do. And I liked how it also came down to preaching and believing. I think one of the things that we do get caught up in is, because I know a lot of people, including myself, we kind of get like, oh my goodness, I preached the gospel and I was evangelizing and doing all these other different things, but there was no fruit, and then you feel bad that nothing happened, right? Don't we all get that, where we feel like, oh, nothing happened and this and this, but it's kind of short-sighted and also a little bit selfish, only thinking about yourself. Because when in the message, remember, it's like, just preach and believe in it, because everyone gets a shot, but we don't control who is going to say yes or no. That's not our choice. Our only thing is to give people the chance, right? And at the end of your life, God will say you had the chance, and that was our duty, right? If we do it, then God can say to every person, you had your chance. And it's not to sit there and say, nah, you had your chance, but you didn't do it. It's not like this. It's more of, we got to preach and believe. We're planting the seed, right? And that is, even though the chance is small, we can't look too much at, oh no, nothing came out of it. I didn't evangelize a single person. Oh, what do I do? And we have to realize is, we don't control whether someone believes or not, and not even God controls that. Not even God controls. There is a time to believe and follow in everyone's life. And when you think about it, guys, when that time came for someone to ask you to study the word, that was the chance that you took. Even though it was a moment you could have just brushed off and said, yeah, maybe not today. That was the moment, and we took it. And that's why we are blessed, because we took that small chance, right? All of us have to kind of look at that is we're basically allowing people to have a chance. Our duty or our role or responsibility is not about making people believe. It's about giving them the chance. And that's the big thing. If we think only about ourselves, we're only thinking about, oh, but no one passed. I don't want to do this anymore, right? And if you think that is kind of selfish, it is kind of selfish if you think about that, isn't it? It is selfish because we're only thinking about, well, I didn't evangelize anyone. But no, this is a very, very big picture thing. It's the will of God. We can't let the opportunity pass. You got to always, preach and just believe that this is the shot that they're getting. That's what you're giving to them. That's what we're supposed to do. And if they say yes, then we take care of them more and we preach more of the gospel. We can't let these opportunities pass by. And all of us have to be prepared and ready. How are we prepared and ready? Well, think about this. You may not have someone to lecture right now, but you got to start preparing for that moment when you get a chance to lecture someone. But if you only start preparing the moment that first person you have a chance to lecture at, you're going to do terribly. You're going to fall on your face. You really are, if you think about that, right? That is a moment behind. If you want to be a praise leader, you better start practicing singing, learning all the songs right now. You got to learn how to sing right now. Why? Because if you wait until the moment it comes and you keep complaining that no one's giving you a chance, but then when you get the chance, you're a terrible singer. It's not just about going up there and praising because you have the heart to. You got to also have the skill also, right? And we have to be those that are always prepared and ready. If you want to lecture, guys, I'm going to tell you now, go to your lecture trainers or whatever inside your churches, go get lecture training, right? I have it also on Patreon. You can look on that too, but go to your pastors. You got people out there that are lecturing already. If you want to do it on your own, fine. If you want to do it with someone, but you got to prepare. You're preparing for that moment, right? All these are the different things. We have to realize we're preparing. We have to be ready and prepared. And we might not know what we're preparing for, but at least prepare yourselves spiritually in prayer, right? Every single day. When the time comes, and the last thing that I really thought about was when the time comes, the circumstances are not favorable, right? They're not always favorable. There's disadvantageous, right? When this time comes, like sometimes even prison. When you go to prison, it's not the right timing, but you continue to do what you're supposed to do. When the time comes, the circumstance will not be favorable, but don't worry. God will add to your actions constantly, right? It seems impossible, but it's not. It may seem like everything's getting worse, but it's not. This is the trust and the belief that we have in God. The time comes, we need to focus, right? Need to focus on that one thing. Focus on it. Don't worry about the unfavorable things, but we got to be like a clock. And that was inspiring again when it was talked about long time ago. Hey, God says be like a clock. Whether it's in the bathroom, whether it's outside, whether it's on your wrist, whether it's on the wall, whatever room it's in, it is always doing time, right? It is always running. And we have to be like a clock, whatever situation, circumstance, whether you're in the bathroom, whether you're in the shed, whether you're in the garbage room, whether you're in the laundry room, wherever it is, you've got to keep doing it, right? So we need to be like a clock. And I hope that all of us too will realize more and more from these messages. It's really, really inspiring, guys. I am inspired from the Sunday message and I hope that you guys will be inspired too. It is time to get yourself ready and prepared. And I hope that all of us will really get ourselves into that position, okay? So What does that mean? That is the end of the word study. Hope that really helps you guys out. If you have any comments, go ahead and write that down. If you have anything else that you realize from it too, I'd love to hear it. We're gonna get to the song of choice. And this is a song that I've heard a couple times on the radio, and I love this song. I had no idea who this person was. And finally, as I was on YouTube looking for today's song of choice, I was like, oh, that's a song I love. And it's called Someone You Loved. Okay, it's from Lewis Capaldi. I have no idea who this guy is, and I saw him. He looks like a regular bloke, right? And this guy, Lewis Capaldi, okay, he's a Scottish singer, songwriter, musician, and man, in 2019, this is the hit single "Someone You Loved." It topped the UK singles chart. And reached number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100. It was at the Grammy Award Song of the Year. It was nominated and won the British Award for the Song of the Year and Best New Artist for the Brit Awards. And this album, first album called Divinely Uninspired, to a hellish extent, top of the UK album chart for 6 weeks. And then later became the best-selling album of 2019-2020 in the UK. And Someone You Love, this song was the best-selling single of 2019 in the UK. And in May 2020, it was announced that this song had become the longest-running top 10 UK single of all time by a British artist. So great song, guys. Lewis Capaldi, and this song is Someone You Loved.
I'm going on during this time. I feel there's no one to save me. This all and nothing really got away. You're driving me crazy. I need somebody to hear, somebody to know, somebody to have, somebody to hold. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. I'm going under, and this time I feel there's no one to turn to. This all and nothing way of loving, go be sleeping without you. Now I need somebody to know, somebody to hear, somebody to have, just to know how it feels. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you help me escape. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. And I tend to close my eyes when it hurts. Sometimes I fall into your arms. I'll be safe in your soul till I come back around. For now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love, but now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love. To let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
And that is Lewis Capaldi with Someone You Love. Tell me, guys, this guy sings so emotionally. Like, I am like captured by his singing style. It is so good the way Someone You Love, Lewis Capaldi. I was like, wow, how do you sing like this? What an amazing singer. Just to be able to express his emotion through it. And I think that kind of reminds us also, like the way Sunseam sings too. It's very him coming out. So I think, you know, the lyrics, of course, I was listening to, but more, I'm just so, what's that word? encaptured. What's that word? When he's like, he basically caught me through his singing. I'm not sure what it is, but he's really, really good. I was really shocked how amazing he is. So, yeah, what an amazing singer. I'll make sure that his link is in the description over there too. So this brings us into the last segment for today. Today's last segment. I want to talk about something from this week's message, and I think it's something that it has to do with everyone with the dreams and hopes and all these other different things that are going to happen. It's really, really interesting because I talked to so many people, and there are so many things that are happening where people are being blessed already in this first 3 weeks of 2021. And one thing that that I'm thinking right now is like, first video just came out on Saturday, really good review for our channel. It's really good. It's like blowing away all the other things that we've done, doing this in a new way. So I'm really, really happy about this. And of course, there are some things that we look at the statistics and the analytics and we're like, oh, this thing kind of makes it look like it's going to be difficult for this. And it's going to, like, some of the signs are saying, ooh, this might be a little bit difficult. But today's message was really powerful. It really was, because it's like in the message it says, do the things you're supposed to. When it's time, you got to do it with everything that you have. Don't stop. Keep doing it, right? So I'm like, oh, that's so true. No matter what happens, we've got to do it, no matter what. And once this happens, it says the miracle is going to happen, that even though it looks like it's not working out, and even though when the time comes, there's so many things that are disadvantageous, right? So many things that looks like it's terrible, it's not working out. Just like the pandemic right now, it looks like it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Something's going to happen. I know it. This year is a year of blessing. And even when I look at the YouTube channel, we're putting everything in right now. I am. Money, everything, just putting all in, right? Hiring editors, doing all the different things just to get this thing started. But I know that even though it is some things we look at like, oh man, this is not going to work. If this keeps going like this, it's not going to work out. In my heart right now, the one thing that really was like, it's going to, like, two things from the message was, it's going to be disadvantageous. It's going to be hard, and that's fine. Just like, it's nothing close to, going to prison or anything along that line. And I even liked it when he was like, hey, during the trial, I didn't care. Right? I was writing all the things that I was remembering when I was in China, right? And I was writing down all the 7,000 proverbs, 7 books, 7 volumes of books. I'm like, dang, like, who would actually be doing that? And it reminded me of another story, of course, way back, I believe when Sunsi was in China too. Remember when he had a problem with his eye and tears kept coming out? I think it was his left eye. And then he had to get a needle shot poked into like the side duct of his eye, and the doctor was so shocked because most people freak out. Someone's trying to put a needle like close to their eye and stuff, right? The moment Sunsi sat down, you know what happened? This is a crazy thing. The moment he sat down, he fell asleep, and the doctor's like, "What the heck?" Like, I've never seen anyone like this. They're about to get a needle in their eye and just fall asleep. Like, this is where it's so crazy when you think about that. Like, he sees the most important thing at that time, and the other things doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how disadvantageous, doesn't matter how bad the situation, circumstances, he knows what he needs to do. And then the second thing that really hit me was, he said in the message that God and the Holy Spirit, they will add onto your actions. They're going to add onto your actions. So if we continue to just take action at the right time, He's going to add upon our actions over and over and over. So as much as we put actions in, the Holy Spirit and God are going to add on top of that action. So that is super exciting for me. Really, really exciting, as in, it doesn't matter what it's going to be like. It doesn't matter. What's going to happen is if we put into action, God will add upon our action. So don't worry about it. It's going to be hard, and that's normal. We're going to see signs that say, uh-oh, it's not going to grow, but that's okay. We've got to push forward. No matter how difficult it is, no matter if you're going to go to jail, no matter if, you're going to be persecuted or people try to kill you or whatever it is, going to that extreme, because when we think about it like this, then we put our life on the line. That's when the life goes on the line, right? So I really, really hope that whatever we're doing this year, guys, no matter how bleak or bad it looks, you got to push forward. God will add upon your actions, which means that if there's no actions, there's nothing to add upon. And the worst thing that can happen is if you only put in a little action and God can only add a little bit on top of it. And then when you realize later, oh my goodness, if I put If I put 10 times more, I would have got 10 times more added. So we really have to kind of set our minds for this year. Don't worry so much. It's going to happen, okay? And I want you guys to have that type of faith. It's going to be the year. No matter how bleak or bad it looks, it's going to be the year. So everyone, blessings upon blessings upon blessings going to happen to everyone. I sound like one of those preachers that are telling you that you're going to make a lot of money. And it could be money. Could be blessings. For me, it could be subscribers or viewers or whatever it is. Whatever it is, we need to get ourselves out there. And I hope that all of us will realize this and really have that faith and pray with that type of faith too. All right. So that is the final segment for today. I hope it's something that will inspire you to start this Monday and this year. Guys, have an awesome Monday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know. I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know.